Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I see we have like a couple of like late members that joined for part-time membership and whatnot. So make sure you say hi in the chat box in order to get credit for the meetings. And then also if you're not on our org link, go ahead and join because that's how we're gonna be able to track your hours at the end of the semester. So make sure you join us on org link. That's gonna be a requirement. Otherwise, it'll be like you basically don't exist and we don't want that. And then also, if you were able to join early on in this semester and you were able to pay for a shirt and a mask, make sure you contact me because I do have those. I know today was a little bit crazy, but make sure you contact me and then I'll be able to schedule either a porch pickup with you or I can meet you on campus and give it to you. Or there is a shipping option for about $5. So just make sure you email me, message me, or do whatever you want to make sure you get in contact with me. Because after the 29th, from that point on, since that's our last meeting and that's when we officially end the semester, from that point on, they're SHAMOS property and you will not be able to get them unless you pay for them. And I don't want you to pay for them twice. So make sure you contact me. And then we are going to sell our old semester shirts. I'm planning to sell for the 20th, but I'm waiting on approval from leadership initiatives and the LSC. So I'll keep you guys updated, but right now it's going to be planned for the 20th. So if you do want to stop by and buy an old shirt or a mask, go ahead and do that. And then some volunteer and hour opportunities for the rest of the semester. So we have meetings, blood drives, and then food donations, Rita B. Huff donations, the Alzheimer's Association and American Heart Association donations, and also the Safe House. The Safe House puts a max on 2 trash bags full of clothes per person. So the max you can get is 20 hours for that. And then also the vaccination drives. But I will say the vaccination drives, the last time I looked, I believe all the spots were full, but someone may drop. So just keep watch on that if you're interested. So the 15th I know is still full whenever I checked earlier today. And then there is the 16th as well. And those are going to be at the fairgrounds. One is Thursday, one's Friday. And they last from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and they have 2 shifts. The only position that you can sign up for is data entry or runner. You cannot be a shot giver. So make sure you're careful whenever you do register. And then send us a screenshot of your registration that you're signed up to volunteer. And then that's how you'll get credit for your hours. And then we do have the physician assistant virtual fair. I think that was yesterday. If you did do it yesterday, yeah, make sure you send us a screenshot that, like a confirmation screenshot that you had registered, and then just send it to us, and then we'll give you the full credit for the 12 hours. And then the virtual fair for the medical school expo, that's going to be on the 13th, and that's from 12 to 6. So it's a little bit less hours, but if you send us your registration, then that'll work as proof. And then the links for all of the volunteering events and everything are inside the welcome packet. So whenever you click on it, you should have access to that. And then we'll send an email too. And then the last 2 blood drives for the semester is on the 12th and the 19th. If you do not come on campus or you're not in Huntsville, but you do have a blood center locally or a drive locally near you and you donate there, just let us know what day you donated and what you donated. So that way you can get credit for that too. It's 2 hours if you successfully donate red blood cells, and then an additional 2 hours if you do double red blood cells or plasma. And then 1 hour if you try to donate, but then you get rejected for whatever reason that they have for you. And then 1 hour for each hour that you pass out flyers. I do have the flyers. So if you want to pass out flyers, you can do this at any point in time, whatever is convenient for you. Just make sure you message me ahead of time before the drive that you want to pass them out, and then we'll be able to give them to you. And then this is our coordinator's information if you have questions about eligibility on whether you're able to donate or not. And these are all the events that we have for the rest of the semester. There is an additional event that I haven't uploaded on here yet, I don't think, but it's a 3-part mini series for pharmacy school with A&M. So that will be updated as soon as possible, and you guys will be able to get hours for that as well. But this is our schedule. So we have just, I believe, 3 more meetings. Our last meeting is on the 29th. That's when we'll announce the scholarship winners, and then also any officers that we had run for the next academic year. We'll announce the next executive board, and then that'll be it. So we're almost done. And then, so we did, I am extending the application to be an officer to tomorrow because we did have, I want to say very few people sign up to run for position, but and maybe it's a semester. I know everyone's really busy, but we do have the philanthropy chair, treasurer, historian, and social events chair. So if you are interested in running, just send me an email and we'll determine whether you're eligible or not. The requirements are you have a 2.0 GPA and you've been a full-time member for at least 2 consecutive semesters. So those are the only requirements that we have. And then you'll fill out the application, turn it in, and then we'll have a virtual election. It'll be like a little quiz that we send to you guys, and then you vote on who you want to be the next officer. And then our guest speaker is Mr. Jason from NSU in Florida. I don't know how many of us plan on going out of state, but this is a great option for you guys if you're interested. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then you should be able to share yours.
Let's see. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yep, you're perfect.
Wonderful. Let's see if it actually plays successfully. Can you still see it?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for allowing me to be a guest at your meeting today. As Morgan was saying, my name is Jason Barchet. I work at Nova Southeastern University. I've been with NSU over 15 years in various capacities, academic advising, admissions counseling, things of that nature. And my goal today is to tell you a little bit about the institution. Obviously, the health science or health professions programs available at the institution. So I will tell you up front, it's a lot of information. So some of the slides get into details about admissions requirements and things like that. I'm not going to spend a lot of details on that. I want to give you a sense for what the institution has, and certainly leave time for any questions. And then, of course, provide you with my information in case you have any questions after the fact so you know how to follow up. But some real basics for you, because I don't know coming in this meeting how many of you even know what Nova Southeastern University is, or if you're familiar with us, how much you know about us. So some real basics. We are a private select research university, relatively young, a little over 50 years, founded back in 1964. We are the largest private not-for-profit university in Florida. Our 2 big distinctions that we're very proud of were classified by the Carnegie Foundation as a university of high research activity and community engagement. So they really reflect 2 of our priorities as an institution. We want to be an institution that is doing meaningful academic things, but we also want to be an institution that's doing things that has meaningful impact in the communities where we reside and exist. NSU has many wonderful academic programs, many outside of the health professions domain, but we're going to be focusing a little bit more today, obviously, because it's of interest to you for some of those health science related programs. Our biggest campus is in Fort Lauderdale. We do have regional campuses throughout the state of Florida. I actually work out of one in the Tampa Bay area in Clearwater, Florida, for those of you who may be familiar with Florida. And we do have one campus outside of the state in Puerto Rico itself. So I'm going to start up front by talking a little bit about my campus, the Tampa Bay Regional Campus, some of the health science programs there. And then I'm going to conclude with sort of an overview of all of the additional programs available at some of our other campuses, just to give you a sense. So you see on the screen here a number of the health science related programs we have, everything from sonography, anesthesia, nursing, speech language, occupational therapy, osteopathic medicine, and physical therapy. So just some basics. The first program I wanted to talk about just very briefly, it's a Bachelor of Science Cardiovascular Sonography. And a lot of you are probably thinking, why would I even be interested in a bachelor's degree program? I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree right now. But I mention this just for those who are interested in the field of sonography. Oftentimes people, when they think of sonography, think of a program that you might do at a community college, a tech school, something like that. It's a general sonography program. This is an actual baccalaureate degree training individuals how to use the technology for diagnosing issues of the heart and veins. So we have high fidelity simulators that we use. In fact, the 3D heart simulator that we use, we were the first sonography program in the nation to use that. Previously, it was only used in actual medical schools. So students get a chance to really, you can think about it, sonographic images, they're not very high fidelity. They're gray, they're grainy, they're two-dimensional, and you are trying to take an image of a very complicated organ, the heart, the veins, and make meaningful images of those things so that a medical professional can then decide what sort of treatment plan is appropriate, what sort of actions would be appropriate. So this program does come with an optional concurrent Master of Health Sciences. So when we find somebody who says, yeah, I'm interested in sonography, I already have a bachelor's degree, I don't want to just get a second bachelor's degree. In the same 27 months this program takes, you can earn that second bachelor's as well as a Master of Health Science degree. So you feel like you're coming out with a little bit of additional education as well. So just some details about admissions requirements, things like that. Again, I don't want to tie up too much on that. But starting at the first graduate level program we offer at my campus is a Master of Science in Anesthesia. Oftentimes when people are interested in anesthesia, they think classically of becoming an anesthesiologist, going to medical school, doing a residency in anesthesia, or they think of a nursing professional who has started as an RN and advanced through a master's level program to become a CRNA. But this is a separate and independent profession. Master of Science in Anesthesia trains you to become what's called an anesthesiologist assistant. You're still working under the supervision of an anesthesiologist, but you're the professional in the operating room administering the anesthesia. A great program for somebody who's interested in the field, doesn't want to go to medical school or doesn't get into medical school, but still has a passion for the field of anesthesia. And in 27 months, like I said, you come out and you're the one already, in the operating room administering the anesthesia. We're one of only 2 anesthesiologist assistant programs in the state of Florida. There's only, honestly, a limited number throughout the country. The profession is new and upcoming, new relatively in the field of health sciences. So it's not even a recognized profession in all 50 states. Some states don't recognize it. There's pushback from the nursing lobby. Others, you have to practice under an anesthesiologist license. Others only recognize if you're working for the VA. But again, for what it's worth, it's an amazing program. We're taking people with absolutely no prior medical experience, and in 27 months, you have the responsibility, that life and death responsibility of being in the operating room and being responsible for the delivery of anesthesia care. So amazing medical simulators that students work with in there, high fidelity, they call them MediMen. So faculty can simulate and change every life sign on these medical mannequins, simulated actual anesthesia lines coming in to the MediMen. So we put students through the paces even before they get to their clinical experiences. And eventually in this program, you do 12 one-month-long clinical rotations. But before that, on campus in our simulation labs, we put you through some real rigorous situations and see how you would respond. The patient crashes, this life sign changes, that happens. What would you do? Practice intubating, practice, doing all sorts of different things and experiences. Prerequisite and admissions requirements. Again, if any of you are interested, happy to go into that in more detail later, but it's similar to, it's a medical school-ish, I should say, as far as the types of prerequisite courses, things like that, that you need to have to be competitive coming into the program. Master of Science Speech Language Pathology. Any of you interested in the field of speech, language, hearing, that sort of thing? We do offer this program at many of our campuses, Master of Science degree. We have one of, if not the largest, speech language pathology programs in the nation. We offer it at all of our campuses. We offer it fully online. It starts 3 different times a year, so there's plenty of entry points for students. And the programs at our regional campuses, such as where I work, are taught in an evening-based format because we have a lot of people coming into this field who may have started in a different profession. They may have started as a teacher or something else and be looking for a career change. So we do get students certainly coming right out of undergrad and going into the program, but it's also compatible with somebody who either currently works or needs to work, at least during part of their education. And high success of employment for students coming out of the program and moving into the professional field. Credit hours, formats, lots of clinical supervision hours. You do get experience in the program working with both pediatric and adult populations. It's an important part of all of our health science programs, as I'm sure you find as you explore health professions programs at any level or different institution is trying to expose you to as many types of patient populations as possible, so you feel prepared coming out and working in any sort of a setting. So prerequisite details, again, I don't want to hang you up too much in that right now, but happy to talk for anyone who's interested. Nursing related, as an institution, we offer bachelor's, master's, and doctorate level nursing programs. At my campus, we offer 2 master's level nursing programs. They're both nurse practitioner, master of science degrees. One is a family nurse practitioner. The other is a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner program. They're both 8-semester programs, so that's a little bit less than 3 years of education. Coming into the program, you have to already have your BSN, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, at least 1 year of clinical experience. But it's an evening-based program as well, because these are nurses who are looking to advance their education. We understand that they're working at the same time, so we try and make it as compatible as possible there. Details, it starts twice a year, 2 2/3 years. Blended format, some of the non-clinical education is developed in an online format, again, trying to work with nurses and their availability for education. But then all of those applied hands-on clinical experiences or preclinical experiences you're doing on campus before you're going into actual field-based clinical experience later on in the program. So more admissions details. Again, I don't want to hang up too much on those. Doctor of Occupational Therapy. So as an institution, we have offered occupational therapy programs for many years. We started by offering a Master of Occupational Therapy program at our campus in Fort Lauderdale. And then about 10 years ago, we were the 6th entry-level Doctor of Occupational Therapy program in the nation. An entry-level Doctor of Occupational Therapy program just means that you come in with a bachelor's degree. You go right from a bachelor's to a doctorate level degree of education. This program is 3 1/3 years long. It's taught in a blended or hybrid delivery format. So it's a very unique delivery format. The best way I sort of explain it to people is you think in a traditional hands-on applied academic program, you'll have 2 components to your learning. One is going to be a classroom or lecture-based component. One is going to be more of a hands-on lab-based component. Same thing in this program, the difference being that lecture-based component is delivered in an online format in the online learning environment NSU uses as Canvas. So this allows individuals a little bit of flexibility in their learning. It is, don't get me wrong, a very rigorous academic program. You do close to 2,000 hours of clinical experience in the 3 1/3 years of the program. I get experience working with pediatric, adult, mental health population settings. And it's really trying to train students beyond just the basic skills they need to become an occupational therapist. At the doctorate level, we're looking on training individuals to be able to be leaders in the field, to be able to advance the field, to get involved in research, policy development, advocacy, education. For any of you who may be familiar with the field of occupational therapy, it is, I think, tragically misunderstood by a lot of people. And so it takes individuals who can go into a setting where occupational therapists are underutilized or not utilized at all, who can explain with confidence the unique value those professionals provide, create opportunity as part of the overall patient care delivery team, which of course would include PTs, possibly SLPs, doctors, nurses, and a variety of other health professionals as well. So more details on the program, the format, blended learning, some of the clinical experiences that you do in the program, photos here of some of our lab settings. So we're very blessed. Our Tampa Bay regional campus, we've been in the Tampa Bay area for 30 years, but the campus we're at right now is brand new. We moved in fall of 2019. So all of our labs are brand new, sparkling, shiny, designed to meet the wants and desires of faculty and the feedback that we have been getting from students from the prior however many years in these programs. So high fidelity, really great lab settings for students to be working in. So again, more admissions details for this program, some more photos of students in lab settings. So Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. NSU has a unique distinction. It is one of only 3 universities in the nation that not only offers one type of medical education, but 2 types. So most universities adopt or embrace either osteopathic medicine as far as the philosophy approach to medical education, or allopathic medicine. We have both a DO and an MD program. Our DO program is older, it's been around longer. It's available at 2 of our campuses, my campus in the Tampa Bay area and also our largest campus in Fort Lauderdale. We admit between the 2 campuses probably about 500 students a year approximately. Our MD program is newer and smaller. It's been around for a couple of years. We only admit about 50 students a year, but we see value in both approaches to medical education, and that's the reason that we have both medical programs. I could talk to you about DO versus MD and differences, and everybody has their opinions. Which one's better? Are they the same? And their descriptions of those things. But the big thing I want you to take away from this in learning about NSU is we offer both approaches to medical education. So if you're not sure what you like, we have both opportunities for you potentially. So again, more details on admissions requirements, things of that nature. Doctor of Physical Therapy. So we also offer a Doctor of Physical Therapy program at 2 of our campuses. Our Tampa Bay Regional Campus, it's delivered similar to our Doctor of Occupational Therapy. Blended learning combines online and face-to-face learning experiences. It's designed to be flexible with individuals who need, again, possibly to work part-time. They have other family responsibilities. They may not be in the area, that sort of thing. It's a very community engaged program. So this program works very heavily we have a lot of local clinical partnerships where we bring community patients on campus. So students are working with them, getting a chance to have real patient experiences before they're even getting to their clinical based experiences. But we also do a lot of service projects and trips and all. We've done to Jamaica, Honduras, Puerto Rico medical mission outreach trips, often in partnership with our DO students, nursing students, our OT students, things of that as well. So trying to have students, in addition to their learning experience, as I take from all that you shared in the beginning, Morgan, having the opportunity to be doing meaningful activity that's impacting in a positive way community and individuals as well, because we're talking about caring, sharing professions that you're potentially looking at going into. So more details about the length of the program, internships. You do 3 12-week-long internships in this program toward the end, but you get involved in patient experiences right from the beginning of the program itself. And again, details on admissions requirements that for any of these programs, I'd be happy to talk to you about more if you're interested in one of them in particular specifically. So that, in a very fast-paced format, is what we do at our Tampa Bay Regional Campus, but that is just a smidgen of what, as an institution, we do from a health science or health professions perspective. So in addition to everything I covered, NSU also has a College of Dental Medicine, of course, the flagship program being our DMD program. We're one of only 3 doctoral dentistry programs in the state of Florida. We also do have a dual DO-DMD program, very unique there as well. Through our College of Medical Sciences, we have a Master of Biomedical Sciences. This is really for students who are coming into some of our health science programs and maybe their undergraduate academic background wasn't quite strong enough, so they need to enhance that. So a program to kind of give them some advanced training, a chance to show at a higher academic level that they can achieve at a higher level and potentially be a more competitive candidate. We also offer a College of Optometry, the flagship program in that college being the Doctor of Optometry. We are the only Doctor of Optometry program in the entire state of Florida. There is not a public university in Florida that offers the Doctor of Optometry degree. So I always tell individuals who are interested in optometry, next time you're in your optometrist office in obviously the state of Florida, take a look at the diploma on the wall. If that optometrist got their education in Florida, they would have had to have gone to NSU. In addition to the Doctor of Optometry, we also offer a master level clinical vision research program through that college as well. We have a College of Pharmacy, again, flagship program in that college being the Doctor of Pharmacy or PharmD degree. We're one of only 7 doctoral programs in Florida in pharmacy. But in addition to the PharmD program, we offer a number of other programs, a PhD level pharmaceutical science program, Master of Science programs in pharmaceutical affairs and pharmaceutical sciences with different levels of concentration and all for individuals. So a lot of different opportunities for individuals who are interested in the field of pharmaceutical science or pharmacy. I talked briefly about our allopathic medicine program. That's part of our Dr. Kiran C. Patel College of Allopathic Medicine, MD. And then sort of the, for lack of a better description, sister college at the university, the Dr. Kiran C. Patel College of Osteopathic Medicine with the DO program. But in addition, that college also has everything from a Master of Public Health, MS programs in biomedical informatics, disaster and emergency management, medical education and nutrition, and bachelor's degree programs in public health and human nutrition as well. Very large college at our university is our Dr. Pallavi Patel College of Healthcare Sciences. So this is where some of the programs at my campus are housed: the Master of Science in Anesthesia, doctorate level audiology program, bachelor level programs in respiratory therapy, bachelor, master, and doctorate programs in health sciences. I mentioned cardiovascular sonography program at my campus. We also have a medical sonography program at our campus in Fort Lauderdale, programs in exercise science, athletic training, sports science, occupational therapy. I mentioned I focused on those entry-level professional programs, but we also offer a PhD, a little bit more of a post-professional research-based occupational therapy program. And in that program also, a PA, Master of Medical Science and Physician Assistant program. We are, again, one of, if not the largest PA programs in the nation. Doctorate level PT program, PhD in physical therapy, speech language pathology up through the doctorate level. So a lot of different programs within that College of Healthcare Sciences. Nursing, again, I mentioned, just to give you a sense for nursing wise, everything bachelor's, master's, and doctorate level programs, clinical and non-clinical focuses in the field of nursing, up through the DNP and the PhD in nursing, with a focus on nursing education for anybody who's interested at all in the field of nursing. So I should do that very quickly. The reason being, if I spent a lot of time telling you all the nitty gritty about half those programs, we would have gotten through a quarter of it. So I am going to stop my sharing. And really, my whole purpose of being here, other than hopefully giving you a little bit of a sense for what NSU is and what we offer from a health professions program, is to find out more about you and anything you're interested in, and perhaps share some additional details on anything that is of interest to you. So please, if there's anything I've talked about that you're interested in, feel free to speak up, type in the chat, anything that I can help you with. And while you're doing that also, I'm going to put in the chat my email address and a link to my appointment calendar. So post-event, any questions that you have and think of, please feel free to reach out to me via email. That link goes right to my appointment calendar. I'm happy to set up phone-based or Zoom-based appointments to talk to people about anything in more detail. But I've been talking too much already. So I'm going to stop, and it's going to get very quiet unless you all decide to talk up and interact with me. So somebody talk to me.
Can you go ahead and go over the difference between the MD and the DO programs? Because we did have the osteopathic medical school here talk, but they didn't really go over like the differences. They were more focused on the application of resumes and stuff.
Sure, absolutely. So, and again, everybody has different perspectives about the, what makes MDs and DOs different and what's better and worse and that sort of thing. So I'll kind of give you my perspective, my spin on things, for lack of a better description. And I will also say that, the MD and DO approach to education has become more and more similar over time. Historically, DOs have a little bit more of a focus on prevention. They have a focus on osteopathic medical manipulation, soft tissue manipulation. Osteopaths oftentimes have a little bit more of a passion and an interest in serving rural and underserved communities and things of that nature. But both approaches to medical education, you can do any sort of area of focus and specialization. In our MD program, it's a very case-based approach to medical education. So the two are completely separate programs. There's no course overlap between them, different faculty teaching them, things of that nature as well. So again, it just kind of depends upon you and how you feel about medical school education. I have my own personal biases about the two approaches, but they're both wonderful paths toward becoming a doctor in whatever sort of area of focus or practice you're most interested in. And I'm sorry, I did see somebody in the chat. Do you accept international students for osteopathic and allopathic? Absolutely. So we do get international students applying for both programs. They're campus-based programs, so certainly we could accept international students. And in particular, the gentleman, the medical doctor that both colleges are named after, Dr. Kiran C. Patel, he's an MD by practice himself, but he really has a passion for osteopathic medicine and really a passion for underserved communities. He's native Indian, so from the country of India, has a passion for developing and increasing the quality and supply of medical educators in that country, cross-training and providing educational opportunities for those individuals. So for example, I talked earlier about dental medicine. We also have an international dentistry program where we're trying to take individuals who have gone through dental education in other countries and put them through a program that's basically, because each country's approach and level of education requirement for these different health professions varies, sort of bridging the gap between what dental education would be in another country and what it would be here, as well as providing some of that cross-cultural education and experience as well. You're very welcome, Holly. So, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to have to ask you questions. I'm going to have to put you on the spot. As much as you're comfortable, whether it's on, speaking up or in the chat, what are you thinking about? Is the vast majority of you looking to go into medical school? Are you looking at different health science related programs? What sort of fields are you thinking about considering? And again, I recognize that you may be at different levels of your academic, education. And so some of you may know exactly what you want to do. Some may still be exploring and considering things, but I'm just curious to kind of know my audience. Forensic pathology. Awesome, Taylor. That's very cool. See, actually, Morgan asked me to do this to see which of you is really still awake during this presentation. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, nice, Morgan. That's very cool. You as well. Fascinating. Going into dermatology. Caitlin, I mean, as far as dermatology is a field of practice, whether you want to be a DO, an MD, dermatologist with both backgrounds, a very viable field, just depends. As I have learned very quickly that trying to talk someone into, one of the two approaches to medical education isn't as productive as just trying to help them find information so they can explore and see what fits best with what they are comfortable with, what they're interested in as far as medical school education approach. Andrea says she's interested in going to PT school. Prerequisite course requirements. So there are a number of different requirements on the sciences, a couple semesters of chemistry, physics, anatomy and physiology, a number of other general education requirements. Definitely, if you want, let me do this for you real fast. Let's see. So I will also say that we have a really nice College of Health Sciences, which is where the PT program is based, website that has a lot of the details on each of our programs and prerequisites, but I will shoot you real fast the link on where you can read some of those prerequisite requirements. I will tell you also that we are a little bit unusual with some of our health science programs, in particular using PT as an example. The program starts in the summer. So oftentimes you're familiar with universities offering all their health science programs starting traditionally in the fall semester. But a lot of our programs, PA, AA, PT, OT, all those are summer-based programs starting in the summer. PA field unsure, Kelby, awesome, very cool, very cool. Med school, thinking about dermatology, that's very interesting, awesome. A lot of synergy, hopefully some friendships going on here. Ali says going MD path or whatever. Wonderful, cool. So I will expose a little bit of a bias here. Have any of you ever thought about the field of occupational therapy? How much do you all know about the field of occupational therapy as a profession? So I say this because sometimes I talk to individuals who love the health professions. They're thinking classical routes of medical school, nursing, maybe PT, something like that, not as familiar with the field of occupational therapy. And it's always a wonderful profession I like to tell those about who may not be as familiar, just because if you love health sciences, but you have a little bit more of a, caring, sharing personality, you like people and understanding them and how they think and what's important to them and that sort of thing. OT is a phenomenal profession to get into, to get to work with and engage with patients and helping them get back to those life activities that are most important and meaningful to them. So that's my little shameless pitch for the field of occupational therapy. Let's see, what is the competitive and average MCAT and GPA score for MD and DO program? Ali, those are great questions. I do know that on our DO program website, they do have some information recently on MCAT scores and GPA. I am going to cop a little bit of ignorance because I don't work as directly with it myself, but I am going to drop in the chat here the link to the DO webpage, and I'll give you the one for MD as well. And you should be able to find some of those informations. I will also say, there's a lot, obviously, hopefully you got the sense that NSU offers as far as academic programs. I do not personally work in detail with all of them, but I am happy to be a resource. So if you, again, tonight, after the fact or whatever, are interested in finding out more about any of the programs at the institution, please feel free to reach out to me. Even if it's not a program I work with directly, I will connect you with my appropriate colleagues. Like I know my colleagues, Joseph and Jamila, who are in admissions in the College of Osteopathic Medicine, and my colleagues in the College of Allopathic Medicine, who I know in a moment could spout off those details and figures without even having to hesitate. So I apologize that I don't know off the top of my head myself. You're very welcome. So while you're thinking about all this, just because I've got you here, just to kind of give you a sense, I always like to give people a sense of the context. Obviously there's a lot that NSU does from a health science perspective, but lest you think that NSU is only a medical school, other amazing things that NSU does. We have amazing programs in the field of marine science and oceanography. Our big research partner is Guy Harvey. A lot of people know him because of his cool T-shirts and posters of fish and all, but he's actually a doctorate level marine science researcher. And his Guy Harvey Research Institute does research with us looking at coral reefs, restoration and preservation, predatory marine mammals, sea turtles, and other things like that. We have amazing psychology programs in everything from clinical and other experimental applied psychology fields, programs in the humanities, social sciences, business, education, so on and so forth. So we really are a large and diverse institution, just to kind of give you a sense of scope of who we are as a university. Other questions about anything I can tell you about? Well, as you know, Morgan started out, I'm not sure how many of you are thinking you want to stay in state or leave the state or whatever. I could make a pitch for Florida and all the wonders of Florida and that sort of thing and all. But certainly do know that Florida as a state does offer a number of really top-notch universities in addition to Nova Southeastern University. Is there a link to find out the demographics of the school? I cannot find it for the DO school. So Regan, what do you mean by the demographics of the school? You mean as far as like, what's the typical student population demographically for that particular program? Morgan's from Texas. No, I understand more. I'm from the Northeast myself. I grew up in Maryland, went to university in Pennsylvania, lived in Ohio for a number of years. So the South has its benefits, but it gets a little warm.
I took myself off the mute. I meant kind of like as well as the student population and then as well as their educators at the school.
Sure. So for the MD program, I don't know specifically, or DO program, I don't know specifically, but what I can tell you as an institution is NSU is a very diverse institution. There was a study that US News and World Reports did a number of years ago where they took just random groups of students and did a comparison of similarity of background. And on that report, we kind of came as one of the more diverse institutions in the nation, but that also applies to our faculty and staff populations as well. And diversity is one of our institutional core values as well. And hopefully this is something you hear at a lot of institutions, but we really do feel that your educational experience is maximized when you're exposed to people from diverse backgrounds. And by diversity, I don't just mean, culture, gender, I mean socioeconomic status, life experience, all these things, because different people look at and conceive the world in different ways based upon their own individual experiences, and being challenged and exposed to those different thoughts, I think only adds additional value. So the specifics, I don't know, but as an institution, it is a priority of ours, and we definitely do have a very diverse university community.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, yes, I say that with, of course, especially if you're talking about something like medical school, a lot of emphasis is placed on MCAT and GPA and all those sorts of things. But yes, absolutely. And that's true of all of our programs. I will tell you, for example, a couple of programs I work with at my campus, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Doctor of Occupational Therapy. Academics are very important. You do have to have the basic, academic chops to be successful in those programs, but to be successful in the programs and in the resultant fields, you need more than just that. So we look for individuals who have good, EQ, emotional intelligence, who have good interpersonal communication skills. We want to be producing students and graduates going into any of these health professions who are going to be able to provide good patient care, good bedside manner. And so we are going to look at everything from who you are, your community involvement and experiences, what you've done, and try to get to know you more than just what we see on paper. Not that those paper measures aren't important, of course. But yes, we do try very much to, as much as possible, holistically look at our students and know who they are as a whole individual. So another question I'll throw at you, just because. You told me a little bit about some of the academic programs that you're interested in. I know from some of my communication with Morgan that there's a variety of academic levels that you all are at. Are most of you seniors, juniors, sophomores? Do we have a real mix here this evening? Just out of curiosity, how close you are to having to make some of these decisions about what's next in your pursuit. Okay, awesome. So like good variety. So number of seniors and all. Super senior. I'm about to be a super senior. Nice, Mark. You're just gonna stay there forever. It's so much fun, right?
It feels like forever.
I understand. That's awesome, Victoria, that you're involved as a freshman. That's very, very cool. I love to see students starting to, it always impresses me. I do, of course, during COVID, a lot of it has been virtual like this, but a lot of health professions related fairs, and the vast majority of people who attend are seniors, maybe some juniors, but whenever I get a chance to talk to the sophomores and freshmen, it always impresses me because as the father of two college age children myself, I know that starting in your education, probably the last thing you're thinking about is what you're going to have to do at the end of those 4 years. You're just trying to figure out how to get into and through those 4 years. So kudos to those of you who are getting plugged in very early. And thank you for the feedback, everyone.
Speaking of my super senior status, how do you guys look at, like, in regards to courses that you take more than once? Like, do you guys take the average, or do you pick the better of the one or the two, or what do you do?
So it varies significantly program to program and GPA to GPA as an example. One of the programs I work with, Doctor Physical Therapy, we look at 3 GPAs, a cumulative GPA, a math and science GPA, and a prerequisite GPA. Of those 3 GPAs, 2 are calculated by a front-end system we use called PTCAS, the Physical Therapy Centralized Application Service. They average all attempts at a course. So when you repeat a course, they take every attempt and average it together. The prerequisite GPA, on the other hand, is specific to us as an institution. So we hand calculate and we choose to pick your best attempt, and not just your best attempt, but if you've taken multiple courses that could meet a requirement, we'll choose the one that you have the best grade, the best attempt at, and benefits you. So it's going to vary depending upon the program, depending upon the types of GPAs. Sometimes they may grade forgive, sometimes they may not, sometimes they may average. But it is a good question to ask. So as you narrow in on a specific program and a specific institution, that's a very smart and mature question to ask, because it can have the number of times I've talked to somebody who says, but my transcript says I have this GPA, and then a CAS system averages all the attempts and they've had to repeat some courses and their calculated GPA is significantly different. And sometimes to the point that they're not academically eligible to apply for a program is always, tough. So it's a good question. Any other questions? I will happy to stay here as long as you have questions, but other than just starting to continue to spout out random facts to you about the institution, I want to be of service to you this evening. Well, I know a number of you are heading out, so if any of you do have to go, I do want to thank you, especially you, Morgan, for this opportunity to connect with you. The downside of the pandemic has been that loss of opportunity to have the face-to-face in-person interaction with people. The upside has been opportunities like this, where normally I might not have the opportunity to fly and travel to Texas, but through the wonders of technology, have the opportunity to connect with you and talk to you a little bit. And please, as I've said several times, anything I can do for you after this evening, don't hesitate to reach out to me.
And then is it okay if I put your email in a little post-meeting email to send out to everybody that couldn't make it?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Please feel free to, and email is fine. And if anybody prefers, that's my direct office phone number as well, which rings to my work cell. So whether I'm working from home, working in the office, whatever, I'm always accessible via email or phone.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening.
All right. And then I guess if no one has any questions for me, then I guess we can call it an evening. Everyone stay safe and have a great, rest of your week. And thank you again for presenting.
Hey, Morgan, can you text me right quick?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thanks.
All right, I guess that's it. Have a great night, guys.